All right, everybody, welcome back to the Steeplechase podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and here with me today I've got Gentry
Yo.
and I've got Jacob.
How's it going, guys? Thank you for all the all the views you gave on the first episode. 132. I didn't
Hey,
even think we would get 50 views, but you guys are the real OGs. You got all those views. We have 17 subscribers. We're going far, and we're just gonna rise from there.
We also got 6 likes as well, which is great
oh,
too.
give me that. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter
You
at
can
Yeah,
Steeplechase Pod.
and all our social medias. If you
I'm gonna say something. So you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts now. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on our YouTube, Steeplechase Podcast. And everything else will be just called the Steeplechase Podcast as well on all those platforms.
See, I was getting hyped last episode and y'all wasn't listening. I told you that we're out here. I told you we out here.
we
So,
getting
Gentry,
somewhere.
you got to tell us, how was your week last week? What's
I
going
mean,
on?
it was pretty great. We had a chili cook-off last Sunday where my mom made some of the best chili I've ever had. We let me think what else I did. I worked and then I went to try new food, and I'll tell you more about that later, but it was pretty interesting. I've been doing some C++ homework and Java. Pretty fun.
What is this C++ and Java you're talking about?
For real, what are you, a
Yeah.
pirate?
C++ in its base roots is a programming language that's basically an upgrade from C. C is just a older version of C++ with less accessibility, basically. C++ is basically used in pretty much every game, well, most every game except like Minecraft that uses Java, but it's used in every game. Almost every single website uses C++ or C in some kind of way. Even Windows was originally made using C++ and C.
Hmm.
Pretty cool.
Did anybody else just fall asleep during this little history lesson? Raise your hand if you cared.
Hey,
Nobody
you
raised
asked.
their hand.
Hey, you
Me.
asked.
All right, whatever, man. Jacob, how's your week been?
That was the most boring week I've ever heard of, but okay, so my week has been grinding some homework, doing tests and stuff, hanging out with some friends, playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's what I'm talking about. And also, additionally, I'm going to Sadie's this Saturday, and
Ooh, wait a minute.
I'm gonna be dancing with my girl. You know how I'm
Uh-oh.
saying.
Ew, disgusting. Let me tell you all about my week. My week's what we call boring. All right, so I started the week. I got a raise. I was like, okay.
Boring.
I'm not gonna disclose how much I make because why?
Okay, how much was
but
the increase?
It's
You
thick,
can say
guys.
that.
It's
a
thick.
dollar, just a dollar.
Rio, that's nuts. What
Holy
the
It is
cow.
annual raise, and after that, I went to work. Guess what else I did after that? I went to work, went to my psychology class, went to work. Then I went back to work, and now I'm here.
But yeah,
So
I'll have to
Dang.
ask you, how is that psychology class going? Because I haven't really heard much about it. I
Alright,
heard you're majoring in
so-
psychology.
without really going too into detail of the class itself, or like the contents of the class that we're learning about right now, it's interesting in class, but out of class, it's really boring. So we have these assignments called learning curve.
Mm.
And what it is essentially is it's an online homework assignment where it gives you a bunch of multiple choice questions that are worth a certain amount of points. You
Mhm.
basically have to keep answering an infinite amount of questions until you get to the point goal, and that gives you 100%. Now you can hit this button and it shows you the ebook, it shows you the textbook so you can find all the answers. So it's really just scrolling through and finding the answers, but it's just really time consuming. But let's stop talking about my homework because who cares about that? Jacob, I need to know, what games are you looking forward to this 2020?
This 2020,
Yeah, just give me a game. Popcorn it. Let me hear it.
Overwatch.
That doesn't count. Game's already out.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the new games. My bad.
What do you? Well, okay, Jitry, what's a game you're looking forward to?
Oh man, bro, there are quite a few actually. I'm looking forward to the Cyberpunk 2077. That game looks so cool.
Huh?
Yeah.
What is that?
And there's Psychonauts 2 as well. Cyberpunk 2077. You guys haven't heard about that game?
Well, I heard about it because I watched the Game Awards. That
So
tragedy.
cool. It's a first person completely open world set in the future in 2077 when flying cars exist. It's so cool.
So
it's like-
GTA and Red Dead, but futuristic.
Yes.
That sounds harder.
Sounds interesting.
And then
Well,
there's
now all of a
Psychonauts
sudden,
2.
that's something I'm looking forward to.
And Psychonauts 2 as well is coming out soon.
That was like my childhood, dude. Psychonauts.
Yeah.
When you just it is the craziest looking game when I was young.
Mhm.
You know.
Oh,
No idea
also,
what you guys are talking about.
Minecraft Dungeons is coming out.
You are not going to
2020?
tell me that you're hyped for
Hey,
Minecraft Dungeons.
okay, I'm
You
not
can't go
hyped
from
for it.
Cyberpunk to Minecraft. That's such a downgrade.
Okay,
for some
I'm
people.
not hyped for it, but I'm looking forward to a new Minecraft game. Also, Halo Infinite. That's also
Okay,
coming. That's
yes,
a pretty big
Yes,
thing, you
come
know.
on. That's got to be at the top of my list right now because I'm not looking that forward to the fighting. Guilty Gear Stride, kinda. Grand Blue, not really, and then Unclear, not really. So I'm really looking forward to that. But after you finish sitting at your desk playing a game, you get hungry. Am I right?
Mhm.
So we got to talk about. I need to know because I'm starving, and as soon as we're done, I'm gonna go get a bunch of food. What was the best meal you had this?
Are we
I'll-
thinking about having a meal together, guys?
I mean, we could talk about it after
Hey,
you tell
man.
me what you ate this.
Yeah, what you
That'll
have?
give you some
Okay.
ideas.
The best meal I had this week was last Sunday, and it was my mama's signature chili. It's
He said
literally so
signature.
good. It's meat, barbecue, beans, and more beans. It's literally the best.
I mean, yeah, 100%. That stuff was so good. Oh, Michael, you forgot to mention Persona 5 Royal is coming out this year.
That game. I mean, I don't. We're gonna just talk about food right now. I didn't even think of that game.
All right,
But
so
whatever.
I think my favorite meal I had was either that chili that my mom made, which literally won 2 awards just for that chili,
Shout
or
outs.
And they didn't even
Shout-outs?
share. That's nuts, isn't
yeah.
it?
Shout out.
Or I think it was either that or the stinking street tacos I had for lunch. Yeah, 100%. It's so good. That. Oh wait,
Ooh.
no. Ooh,
Oh?
wait, hold on a minute. I completely forgot about something I ate. Oh man, I'm 100% certain. I'm 100% certain now. It had to be
Okay.
those loaded waffle fries from this
Oh,
restaurant. near
yeah.
us.
Loaded waffle fry. You got to
It-
tell me more about that.
Okay, so you know how normal fries are coated with like normal batter, like they'd use for just like frying stuff, right?
Yep.
Instead of just like bland fry stuff, whatever they use, it's
Chick-fil-A.
coated. Way to go, bro. True. They coated it with waffle batter. So the waffle fries were actually waffle fries. They
Oh,
tasted
yeah.
like waffles. They were sweet.
So it's basically a
Really?
breakfast version of waffle fries.
So, and then basically on top of that, they had chicken. They had like a little fried onions on there, buffalo sauce, their signature syrup sauce, which was really good, some ranch, and oh my god, bro, it was so good. Crazy.
How about you,
Yeah.
Michael? You're the best meal in your week.
What
To
do you
be
think?
honest, my meals were pretty boring.org. So I gotta say, I had this bowl of oatmeal. Nah. Hey, that's crazy. Actually, I really don't know because I didn't have anything like extraordinary this week. I would say, I guess I had this burger today from a place I've never been to called Harden's,
Hmm?
which I got it DoorDash, and the DoorDash driver told me he thought that they shut down. So I guess they were old and already known.
Mhm.
And he just was like, I'm surprised that they're still open.
Yeah, I think I'll have to try that place sometime. It sounds pretty good.
I don't know where it is. I just DoorDash, so I gotta find it eventually.
Sounds good.
Michael will be like, RNG, this place.
All right, so the next topic. So
What?
So one of the biggest things that's happened this week was Smash 7.0. What do you guys think about that so far?
About Byleth?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. He's very slow, and his range is insane. His damage is insane. His kill power is insane. But the only fast option is pretty much his like Nair or up B. But like,
Hell
it's
not!
what?
Bar! Ah!
Michael is so hyped about him, even though he's a trash
I'm
character.
sorry.
Are you alright, bro?
Listen, no, that's what part of they do in the fight is they yell out the weapons that they're using as they fight. And so that character, right? I have a tendency of watching a character's gameplay and being like, I'm gonna hate this character and everything about him. And I did it for every DLC character except Joker, and he's the one I ended up hating the most, which is wild. So I talked about Byleth for a really long time. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like this character even casually. I can't stop playing Byleth. I can't do it. It comes with the moveset is dumb, but it's fun enough for me. The character I don't think is going to be tournament viable because they have too many problems with fighting up close. If you rush this character down, can't land, they don't have good get off me moves, you're just going to get eaten. So you have to play at a range that's very safe. One of their main problems is that even with their range game, it's really very, very, very horizontal. They don't really have anything vertical at all. So like
up air?
that upper is clean.
That's
but I'm
insane
talking
up
like
air.
I know, but if they're like sitting there and spamming like auto cancel forward air, you could jump over it pretty easily because you can't angle it upward or downward like you can with a Belmont, which I think is kind of whack.com because like it auto cancels, but it has one tiny little hitbox, and if you miss it, it's like, well, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the back air doesn't. Why does the forward air auto cancel, but the back air doesn't? They're the same move. That doesn't even make any sense. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But along with Byleth came a bunch of nerfs and buffs. So Gentry, you not really being a Smash player.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, you can really answer this. What nerfs or buffs are you excited about in this patch?
Well, the nerfs probably the buffs to Cloud were pretty insanely good. Like no, just in overall, I thought they were pretty good buffs. Like power wise, he got like some really good ones. Like his charge up for his what is it called?
Limit.
Limit is like so much faster, and it just flows better because gets all this power from all these buffs he got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question about this. Do you think this patch changed who the best character is?
Nope.
Like the top
not
tier?
at all.
Really?
The best character in the game is still Joker from Persona 5. And here's
the
why.
The only nerf Joker got was to his guns, and
no, it's to Arsene as well. But
like,
and I don't know what people were expecting because Joker without Arsene, how would you nerf him? The only way you can really do that is to nerf his damage, which honestly isn't that strong without Arsene. He has combos and mix-ups, but his just straight up raw power is not that strong without Arsene. They nerfed his down gun. So the way it used to work is that when you shot that gun in the air with Joker and you pointed down while he was in the air, he would fall to the ground and he'd spin. But as he was spinning, he would shoot bullets down to the left and right of him and then straight down at him. So they nerfed it. They took the left and right hitboxes gone completely. So all he does is shoot straight down and it doesn't reach as far either, as far as I've seen. So if you're not directly underneath Joker when he's falling and doing that move, you're not going to get hit. So it makes it easier to counter when he's landing, because a main thing that would be hard for people to deal with is that hit him up in the sky, he'd fall down shooting that gun downward, and the only way you could hit him is to run underneath the bullets without getting hit by them so you didn't get flinched and stopped. Jump up to the side and hit him from the side. So this will just make it easier to punish him. But other than that, they nerfed Arsene, which is the thing that needed to be nerfed. I don't get what we would change to base Joker. But like, I don't know, man. And and this isn't like me being like, I'm a Joker player, so you can't So you can't nerf my character because I dropped Joker because I didn't think he was fun. And right now I play Byleth and Palutena. Byleth. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses. Professor. But on top of that, there were a lot of people on my timeline who were really mad at this patch because they buffed Zelda, who is really strong online.
I hate Zelda.
They buffed Samus and Dark Samus, who are really strong
Why
online.
you do this? Why? They're zoners. They don't need buffs.
They buffed Young Link, who is really strong online. They buffed Toon Link, who is really strong online. And they gave about, I'm not going to guess how many characters. They gave a decent amount of characters buffs to where their shields are bigger now. So the main thing that I saw on my timeline is that a lot of people were like, how did they not nerf Pikachu? How did they not touch Pikachu? So
I want how did they not buff Captain Falcon? That guy is actually so bad.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, they buffed characters that needed buffs, but there are other characters that needed buffs that just kind of got neglected. Patch. I think that was a little weird.
Okay.
They buffed his jab. Like he does. What do you mean, jab? Okay.
Who's his jabs? Like
quite a few people.
His dash dance. Literally, he stays in one place for
That's what a dash dance is, though.
No. Like when he tries to go the other direction, his left leg or right leg goes to the right.
What?
So if you're trying to run left, his left leg would be going right just a little bit, and you literally get hit by most things. It's insane. And rock crocking. Like, how do you get over both of those things?
I don't know. So I got a question for you guys when it comes to this, because a lot of people were either really upset or really happy. So this doesn't have to be specific to Smash, but when it comes to games in general with balance, do you prefer? We'll start with you, Gentry, since you haven't really talked much about Smash. Do you prefer nerfs or buff with balance?
Ooh, I mean, I think buffs are more beneficial to an overall game than just nerfs, because the thing is, they implemented all these I guess I'll just put in point Call of Duty. So there are tons of weapons that are good and there are some bad, and I'd rather see the bad ones brought up to be good instead of trying to bring the good ones down so they be bad. I mean, it really just depends on the game and what's happening in it. If it only takes like half a second to kill somebody, it doesn't really matter, right?
It's too hard. It's too hard to nerf a really good character down to like an even playing field, because you might over nerf them or not nerf them enough. So if you just buff the bottom tiers or like the lowest who need buffs, then it's much easier to bring them up to the high standards that the good characters are at.
And the thing is, with buffs, they can just revert the buff if it becomes too powerful, and they can implement something not so drastic as a buff. You know what I mean?
Smash I also think Smash takes too long for nerfs and buffs.
I would agree with that. It seems
I
to be like
agree.
months.
Well, they don't. Well, one thing with Smash that you had to remember that I think a lot of us who play the game competitively forget: this game is meant to be casual. All right, they don't sit there and watch tournaments and go, "Oh, this person just did this. We need to tone this character right now." Like, you know what I mean? The game is meant for 5 and 6 year olds to sit at a pre-Christmas party or birthday party and throw cake at each other and turn on items and be dumb.
We clearly see that with Byleth getting in the game.
Leave Byleth alone. He and she didn't do anything. They're just out here teaching. All right, leave them alone.
I mean,
they're teaching their students, because in the next Smash game, all the students will be there, and you'll be even more mad than you are about Byleth.
I didn't say that. His moveset? Come on, man.
But anyway, so one thing that I feel about nerfing good characters, and I saw this a lot on Twitter and just like in my own conversations with people, if you nerf or buff a character too much, it takes away to what that character is actually supposed to be. It takes away from the identity of the character. So for instance, people were talking about Dr. Mario's buffs. Dr. Mario got buffed. He just basically got better combo setups and more damage.
Mm-hmm.
But people are still upset that his recovery isn't good. And I see people saying, why didn't they give him a better recovery so that he could be up there with the top tiers? But
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Leffen that I heard this from first, made a good point saying, if you change the identity of the character, it's not the same character. If we
Mhm.
give Dr. Mario a better recovery, he's not so much different from Mario, and like it
Yeah.
ruins the character individuality. So with nerfs and buffs, you have to be careful because you want to make a character
Yep.
stronger with
Hey.
what they have,
I'm
but you
muted
don't
right now
really
because
want
I'm in the middle of
to
a podcast. How's
make it to
going?
where they aren't the same as they were. So, it's kind of hard to look at it. And another
why I
thing that I
muted.
saw a lot is there are a lot of people who I saw complaining who don't like compete in tournaments. Because it's like,
Yes, I would love to.
I don't know. It's just you don't compete in the game. You just sit at home and watch, and that's a majority of the people who I see complaining about the game. And it's weird to think that so many people who don't go to tournaments complain about the game. But speaking of people going to tournament,
Anymore?
there is a player.
Ally.
Yeah, you already know where I'm going with
Ally.
this. So if you check Twitter, I don't remember the account name. I don't have it pulled up right now because I lost it. But there is a top player from Canada, or used to be known as a top player named Ally. We're not going to go too into detail of his controversy, but basically he was dealing with issues with a minor, and
he's a minor?
No, Ally's not a minor, but the person he was dealing with is a minor. Captain Zach. Captain Zach
What
was
the
like
heck?
15 at the time, and Ally's
Mhm.
like almost 30. So the thing that's happening right now is that he's been banned for quite a while. He lives in Canada. He has been, I don't know if he's been invited or he just decided to go. He is now returning to tournaments again in Canada. So do you think, Jacob, we'll start with you. Do you think that it's okay for somebody who has, I guess, actions against them or things against them about problems with minors? Do you think that somebody like that, should he just be banned for a certain amount of time, or should he be banned for his whole lifespan? What do you think?
That is
A tough
Did
question.
he know?
Did he know that he was dealing with a minor? Yes,
He did.
he did know.
Oh my goodness, that makes it worse.
See, and a lot of people's views on it is that he's 28, the person he's dealing with is 15. You're the
Yeah.
bigger man, you're more mature, you know that you shouldn't have been doing that. You know you
Mhm.
have a big name out there. You know the person you were dealing with has a big name. If anybody finds out about either one of you, like we did, it's a wrap. So
Okay.
it's just
That
like,
might be a legal issue too.
oh, it definitely is. And that's another thing with the Smash community. There have been a lot of cases of people doing straight up illegal things, and the worst that they're getting is banned from entering tournaments. Like, people do this stuff in regular day life,
They're
and they
raging too
get
much.
locked up.
They literally rage and like break things in the venue sometimes, and it's not okay.
It's a lot worse than that. There are a lot of cases in the Smash community, unfortunately, with stuff like rape. And they're like, this isn't the first time.
Yeah.
And it's just people, instead of getting the United States legal punishment for it, they're kind of just getting, a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again, and you're banned from my tournament. So just knowing all that information, Jacob, do you think that he should be allowed back to tournaments at all in his life, or should he just be done and find another hobby?
Could I say something about it?
Yeah.
My thing is, I think it really just depends what was the age of consent in where he was at the time, because that all matters as well.
Where was he? Where
Yes.
was this
I
located?
don't know where he was when these. Well, it's not like it
thought it
was
was
just one
Canada.
event. It's not like it was just one event.
Mhm.
It was like they were dating. But regardless,
Oh,
it's
okay.
a 10-year gap. It's like a 10 or 12-year gap. There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere in the world that allows a 12-year gap.
I don't know.
I think it really just if the age of consent is 15, but how long is the okay? What really matters is how long this relationship is going for. Real problem.
That I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, it's a
That's
bad
a difficult question,
Yes,
honestly.
I
I
th-
would think he would just have to find a new hobby. Because he should, if it was in the United States, he'd probably be in jail, if I'm going to be for real. But um, I would think he would just get banned for life, honestly. Because, like, that shouldn't be acceptable, honestly. You're 28, dude, and you're dating a person who's a minor. Like, come on. I don't know.
okay. The thing I have is that isn't he flaunting it, right? Isn't he like exaggerating it? On like on stream or whatever.
What do you mean? Isn't he exaggerating
Isn't
it?
he like showing it on stream?
Showing what?
The like them together.
No,
Oh, he isn't. Yeah.
no. It was secretive
Okay. I
for a
think
really long time.
yeah. No, I think if the relationship continues, like even after they've warned him, he should be banned for life.
No, it wasn't a warning. He is banned
Then he should
from.
stay
Mm.
He
banned.
he has been banned from official tournaments that are for the world ranking for
Mm-hmm.
quite a while now, and he's just now being allowed access to return to just a little weekly.
I think if
I'm
he's
saying, do you guys
still
think that's okay?
dating Captain Zach, I don't think it's okay that he can go back to tournaments. I think that's just bad. It's a bad sight. Like for people that are looking into the Smash community, they'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, this 30-year-old's dating a 15-year-old. I don't. That's a bad look for the whole Smash community, not just their relationship. I feel like I don't know. It's rough when you're a public figure and you're doing this stuff because it's just a bad thing. It's just bad. There's no good answer for it. There's no like one right answer for it, which it makes it hard to try to choose. I mean, I feel like he should be banned at least for a while. I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard.
Now, just to put a little bug in your ear for a little bit, think
Okay.
of it. Think of it this way, because this is how some people are thinking about it. This guy, has dated a minor, and he is now being allowed back into a public area around other minors, where they who might know this story might feel a bit uneasy or uncomfortable about this. So, do you think it really is still okay? And Jacob will let you answer this part since Gentry wanted to give his little take on it. But do you think it still after that it's still okay to let him be back?
It's such a loaded question. There,
I feel like it's almost child endangerment. Because
yeah.
you have children around a
Like,
guy that they.
so if it's, I heard something about like they were dating before the age of consent, or like,
So it's a bigger story ish than I'm kind of giving right now because I wasn't trying to fully get into it, but I can. So the point of the story really is that Captain Zack was going to, as far as I know, was basically blackmailing Ally into doing something because they had feelings for each other. And
really,
then it was like at some tournament he was playing against Zachary. He was about to win the set and he basically gave it away.
I remember.
And then it was like, oh, he gave it up because
Mhm.
Captain Zach said he had to or whatever, and that's when the truth came out. And it
Oh,
was
yeah.
really from who was it? Lima, when Lima leaked all this stuff because he was like, listen, this guy's dating a minor and it's consensual, blah blah blah, this blah 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 that.
Oh yeah,
But
he threw the tournament for Captain Zach for some reason or the other.
it was
we-
something to do with blackmail, but
He
like
should be banned
just,
for life, 100%.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
just like that.
I think we can agree it was just a bad decision. Like the whole situation was a bad thing, and it probably shouldn't have happened.
I think
'cause
just for I think
it's like
everything
we're-
else
we're he-
aside.
we're there to play video games. We're not there to have all this controversy. We're just trying to play a game and have a tournament. See who's the best, see who's the worst, get money, or
Well, I agree, but the whole point of that being, especially when you are traveling, like think of a major like Evo or like SmashCon or like CEO. People are paying a lot of money to go to these events, and I feel like those people who are paying that money should have the right to feel comfortable in the area.
Yes.
You know,
I
Mhm.
and if
think
people don't feel comfortable around him, should he be banned for that, or should people just get over it? Like, what's the
I
right
think
call here?
I have an idea. So I'm
Okay.
just okay. Regardless of all the minor stuff, right? All that, he should be banned for life anyways. Because if someone you're dating can influence you to throw a game and lose a tournament just because she said to or he said to, I don't think you should be able to play. Because that's just not playing fair at all. You should be banned at least and just based on that for at least a year or two. Just
So
on
you
that.
think? So
Because
you
that's just
think
not
because
playing
of
fair.
right? So bracket manipulation, basically.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think just based on that, because the other stuff we can't really say much about because we don't know the full story behind it. I'm just saying based on that, he should be banned for quite a while because
And let me
bracket
just put
manipulation
Yeah.
is very bad.
Yeah, let me just say this as a disclaimer. I know the story. I know parts of the story, but just out of not wanting to get into it, I'm not going to sit here and say I know 100% everything because I
Mhm.
don't.
Just take our words with like the grain of salt. Like
We
we
don't know
don't know
everything.
everything. We don't know how the story went down. We're just seeing it from an outlook perspective of we just being part of the Smash community and going to tournaments, and that's really it. And I think we've made our peace about it, and we should go and move on.
Yeah, yeah. I will just give my 2 cents on it really, really quickly. Basically, I'm kind of with Gentry on this. He should be banned for bracket manipulation. My thing is he has been banned for I think a term now. Should he be allowed to come back for dating a minor? If they were simply just dating and they didn't do anything sexual, regardless of it being consensual or not, I think that he just made a dumb move. He's had time to reflect on it and he can slowly get back in. But
Mhm.
if it's to the point where people are like, I don't want to be around this guy, and that's subjective because some people are going to lie just to get him out of there.
Yep.
So I think it just needs to be all right, you are banned for X amount of time for bracket manipulation and for dating a minor. Because again, a big argument that people were having is that the age of consent in Canada is not the same as it is in the United States, or
Okay.
as people have said.
I'm just going to contribute something real quick. I don't think they could ban based on that. I think they should involve legal on that point. They can ban for bracket manipulation, but I don't know if they have the right to ban just based on that. I think the legal authorities can try to get them on that because they don't. I don't know if you can.
Well, I
What
Is
do
don't
you
there a
think the
mean?
rule
legal
against that
authorities. I don't think
in
the
there?
legal authorities need to get into the point of banning somebody from a
Well,
tournament
that's not what I'm talking
because,
about. I'm
like,
just talking about the legal authorities need to investigate the situation. I don't think I don't know if
Mhm.
the tournament can technically regulate who can come and who. I mean, they can ban
They
him just
they
for.
they
actually
they
can.
they,
Yeah,
they
they can.
can't
They can.
regulate. They can't regulate who enters and exits the
Yeah,
venue as they don't own the venue, but they can regulate who physically
participates in the tournament.
participates in the tournament and who
That's why
doesn't. And the
legal
thing with
authorities should be
that's
involved in order
that's
to get
true,
that done.
and there has been a lot of Smash cases where legal involvement has not happened. It really just is, oh, this guy got blown up on Twitter. He lost all his followers, and now he doesn't go to tournaments anymore. And that's as far as it goes with the Smash. But
Because they never. Whatever. We'll just move on.
yeah,
We
it's a
kind
it's
of.
an endless it's an
It's
It's an
endless
just.
endless loop.
conversation that
Yeah.
we literally will never end on. The main point is people are uncomfortable being around Ally, but there's another thing that people are uncomfortable being around that's unfortunately spreading right now, and it's the coronavirus. Gentry, can you tell us about that?
So basically, the coronavirus is just a bad thing. It's
It's
I guess
airborne.
it
It's
is
an
an
airborne
airborne.
virus that
It's an airborne virus that spreads from patient to patient. It is said to have some link to a large seafood and animal market that somehow got contaminated with the virus. It's the name of the virus is not just corona. It's novel coronavirus. It did start think technically it started last year, but towards the end, and it has slowly spread. It is spread by sneezing on somebody or airborne, basically at that point. But the disease. So basically, the symptoms, like what you get fever, cough, and shortness of breath.
Aches.
It is also said that you can get pneumonia. Is one of the main. Another thing that can spread from it is what you can get, which is also not good. I mean,
It's getting wild. It's
yeah,
actually getting wild.
a lot of
Like
people.
everyone I know is somehow or sort of getting sick, and it's very frightful. The I heard that they said it kind of originated from like Middle East. I thought I heard of that.
It's from Wuhan, China. That was where it
Yeah, they
started.
were thinking about like banning the immigration from there for a
Yeah,
while, and it's very weird.
they've
You
shut
know?
down Wuhan completely.
Hmm.
Like people cannot leave. They actually have a big cruise ship that's shut down that can't leave. That's in Italian. It is in Italy, and people can't get off the boat. They're just stuck on there
Yeah.
because they believe
Really?
somebody might have the virus on board. And the thing is, it's so hard to try to tell just because it's so similar to the flu. It has like almost
Mhm.
the same symptom almost.
And when
Really?
my teacher was feeling sick, I was like, "Oh no, gosh darn it!" Like I felt threatened because I was like, I know this is a very spreading virus that can do a lot of harm if you're
Mm.
not healthy or you know.
Yeah, I knew it was a spreading virus, but I didn't know that it was airborne. That's actually something
Yes,
to look
it
out for.
comes from the respiratory droplets, like the water that comes out of your mouth when you sneeze or cough, and it can get you when somebody coughs or sneezes on. Not good.
I would assume not. Is
And
this lethal?
it
Depending on if you're healthy or not, it can be lethal, I think.
Hmm.
but for what I've seen is that the death toll from the coronavirus is 170 supposedly, but the reason why is because it's mainly been killing the old elderly and the young because they don't have as good of immune systems. So that's pretty much why they've
Hmm.
died. But it seems like okay, it might be wrong. It actually might be over 213,
Holy cow,
at least in China.
that's
That's
insane.
but the thing is, a lot of people have good enough immune systems that are fighting it off, but I haven't seen anybody. There's no cure yet, which is in progress at the but it's a rough situation. It sucks.
Yeah.
If you're
That
traveling
is,
anywhere,
it's so bad. I hope none of us get sick, and none of you viewers that are watching ever get sick from the coronavirus.
Yeah,
hmm
please be extra careful and extra sanitary about the coronavirus. I still am just really learning about it now, as I haven't really heard about it much in my area. As far as I know, people aren't that affected. But let's kind of transition off of that topic because
hmm
we were kind of talking about heavier topics for a little while. So we're gonna talk about something that we mentioned in the last episode, and we're kind of discussing it. I don't know if Gentry, did you watch the developer update?
I have not. No.
Okay, you'll get to learn about everything fresh. So I'm kind of just gonna go over what they talked about, and then we can go in depth and talk about it and kind of discuss how we feel about it. So, like Jacob said in the last episode of the podcast, we were going to get an update for Overwatch. So I thought that the update was going to be an in-game update, you know, like download it and play it. The game is different. So what happened just today, as we're recording this, it's the 30th of January. So this came out today for you guys listening. It'll have been Thursday, 2 days ago. Jeff talked about the updates that are coming to Overwatch in the near future. So the first thing that he talked about is something called the experimental card. So in the game,
Huge, so huge.
that thing, in my opinion, is huge. So in what the experimental card is,
hmm
when you're in the main game of Overwatch, you know how you have all those cards with all your different options to play, like quick play, competitive, arcade, all that stuff.
hmm
Hmm.
Well, they're adding another card called the experimental card, and it's a play realm where players can basically essentially test changes that the development team has made. This is not the same as the PTR. Because what the PTR does is that they just make a change to a character and they say, all right, everybody play this character to make sure that it works and there's no
And
bug.
they're already what's different from I think from PTR from experimental, they've already play tested and put a sort of an approval on the abilities and changes and then put them on PTR. And they
Right.
probably
So,
already made up their minds about the nerfs or buffs.
So
well,
basically,
well,
what it
sort of. So what it's supposed to be is that they make changes to a hero and they say, all right, we're going to make this hero like this. The PTR is people playing that hero to make sure that everything that they do quite literally functions properly. Like if I want them to do this ability, they do this ability and it tests the interactions and all the bug fixes. The experimental play card, that experimental play realm is made so that when they make a change, players can play the character with that change and just basically go on the forums and give feedback and say, hey, I like this. So if they were to change Tracer, right now she has 3 blinks. Let's say they got rid of one of them and she got limited down to 2 blinks, but they made the cooldown half a second. So they'll put that in the experimental play realm. So you'll play as Tracer, and you will try how she feels with only 2 blinks instead of 3. And this is not limited to PC. This also goes to console players too. So everybody gets to try this. And it also stays with your player level. So you'll still get experience, you'll still get loot boxes and stuff for it. The only thing that they really tried to make an emphasis on is that this is for everybody's opinion. Not every change that they put out there will hit the live game. So just with that, yeah.
So it's just them like trying things, and you can see
essentially,
what it's
yes.
trying.
Yes, it's like them saying, we made this character do this instead of this because we want them
How
to
do you
play
guys like
different.
it?
Here's how we're going to try. But
These
they also
are-
said this is not exclusive to character. This also can be done with modes. So they said what Jeff's explanation was is that what if we wanted to make how payload is played different? We'll change how the map works. We'll put it in the experimental mode, and you guys play on that map and you tell us what you think. So Jacob, why don't you tell me what you think about experimental card or Resident Overwatch?
This makes it so much better for the patches and just how they deal with like uh putting buffs or changing characters in a different way. So it will be more fluid and have more changes more often. So and actually play with what the viewers are see as a problem or what new abilities they could add to the heroes. Such as if you wanted to, for say, a Roadhog doesn't have a hook anymore, or like he has a shotgun and it's more rapid fire but it does less damage or some sort. It's just a way for them to make radical changes very fast and just get the overall look from the audience and the consumers of the product and just going from there. I actually really like the change. It's very fast paced, very cool, and I think it will really help the changes to each character if they make changes.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about this because the main thing that Jeff was trying to emphasize in that developer update is that we are listening to you. He was saying we are listening to the players. We understand that our choices in the past for our how we balance and work with the game is not the greatest. We don't always do things the fastest, which we will get to in a minute with the second topic of this update. But Gentry, just based on what you've heard and what you've read, how do you feel so far about the experimental card? Are you excited for it? You couldn't care less? How do you feel?
Hey man, that sounds great. That sounds like a great change, and it feels like more of a connection between the developers and the players. You get more of an instant kind of thing instead of just having a PTR where they're like, all right, here's the next change, here's the next update. Here you go, you get it early. And you
This
can't play with the same
shows
character.
so much potential in the future updates of Overwatch. Like just this patch creates such a good future for Overwatch and its progress through interacting with the viewers and the players of the game and the competitive scene. But the only thing I think the experimental card should have. They didn't say that, but I think they should have it in there. Would be a survey where the player could actually maybe rate each ability change or nerf
Mm-hmm.
or buff in like a way from like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 some way to show to the developers, we like this, or in some way. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because we were talking about it earlier before the show. One now they might do this, but it was just like he said, they didn't mention it in the developer update. We don't know exactly how we're supposed to give back our feedback of what's in the experimental card, aside from just doing what we've always done and hopping on the Blizzard
Forums.
forums and saying whatever we want in the general or the competitive or the balance
Mm-hmm.
forums and just talking about what we liked about the game, which is kind of goes into what we're going to talk about next with the update, and that's
Hey,
that they want to change their balance philosophy. So
Mm-hmm.
the way they've acknowledged finally, and look, this has made me so annoyed for so long because I dropped Overwatch and I was talking about with other people. I was like, I like that they are finally making these changes to Overwatch, but the
Mm-hmm.
problem is they took too long because they're too scared of people's reactions to it. And that's what
Yeah.
Jeff said
mhm.
in the video. He said when they balanced the game, they were really more focused on stability for everybody playing the game. And
Mm-hmm.
so that when they made changes that people asked for, they were kind of hesitant to it because they were scared of the
What people think.
negative yeah, they were scared of the negative reaction to it and the backlash that was coming to it. So what he
Mhm.
said that they're going to do now is that changes will be consistent and aggressive. They're going to make changes more and more often based on our feedback that targets specifically the
Yes.
meta of the game. And he
Yeah.
said this also applies to feedback specifically from the Overwatch League. They're going to kind of be separated a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
there's a huge difference between the best of the best and the
Yes.
average Joe coming home from work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Gentry, how do you feel about this idea of balancing your game consistently based on the competitive meta?
I feel like that would be that's the way it should be. That's the way it's always should have been because the main game mode almost everybody plays is competitive in the game. Everybody tries to rank
As of
up
now, it used
as
to
of now. It
be
used to be
casual split
arcade that
between
stuff, right?
competitive, but more of, I think now it's more competitive, leaning to
Yes.
competitive.
But the thing about it is that I think this is such a good thing they need to do. And so Smash has it the way it's catering towards the lower players, right? The guys that don't the guys that are the average shows, right? Whereas
Right.
this would be good for everybody. Like the thing is it's basically like a trickle down. The competitive players get the changes they need, which will also help the average players too because the thing is you have to play competitively even if you're playing quick play. You can't run like meme strats and how it work because you can't do multiple characters of the same kind. So a competitive update for that will help the the casuals too. So I think if they cater towards the competitive audience, that's just a good way to go in
Right.
balancing at least this game because that's like the biggest moat. Whereas Smash, I'd say the bigger is the casual just 1v1ing your buddies more so
Right.
than the I see how big the competitive scene is, but you have to imagine how big the casual scene is because it's on Switch. You can just bring it over to your buddy's house. And I think that scene is just so much bigger. Whereas Overwatch is all on PC and all on console, and everybody's trying to play competitively, get their rank up, that kind of thing. So if they balance it for that, that's the perfect way to do it.
You
Okay.
are
I think.
so correct. Like, dang, you made up some really good points. Like the trickle down effect for the meta. Like, if you correct the meta for the high end, it won't like punish the casuals. It won't punish like the people. It will actually help them because most of the if you balance for the meta characters are the people are the characters that the casuals or like the semi-casuals can abuse and actually hurt the people that are just trying to play casually. You know?
Hmm. Yeah.
100%.
it's such a good idea,
Yeah, I
And
totally agree.
I love that they're actually conforming to this instead of what they've been doing, which is like having a month or two and like just making little changes that aren't drastic enough for how, like goats they didn't change for how
Months.
long,
Months.
and
Month. Same with dive.
yeah.
Okay, so this brings us to our next point. The hero pools in the next season in March. What do you guys think?
All
What do you
right.
guys think
So,
about
do
it?
you even know how it works?
I
Because you
believe
didn't watch it.
I believe
So,
so.
for season 21 that starts in March, the way that they're going to run competitive now, because we thought that it was going to be hero bans, and it turned out that's not the case.
Mhm.
The way that it's going to work is that the Overwatch team, I don't know if it's going to be randomly generated or if they're actually going to hand pick, but every week there's going to be a pool of characters. This is solely for competitive, by the way, that are
Mhm.
available to play in the competitive season. If that character is not in the hero pool for that week, you cannot use that character. So the example that he used is if Orisa, Sigma, May, and Moira are not available in the week 1 of season 21, you cannot play those characters until Sunday of the next week of March. So this also extends to the Overwatch League. This is not just specific to people playing at home. The Overwatch League will also have a hero pool. So, Gentry, let's start with you again. How do you feel about the idea of a limited hero pool instead of hero ban?
I don't like that. I just don't.
Really?
It doesn't make
Really?
sense to me. I mean,
Okay.
like, okay, so you want to play your. It feels like they're trying to force you to use the meta they want you to do, right? Because if they only have a certain amount of characters in the pool, then they're gonna want you to do that meta for that week. It feels like they're catering towards Overwatch
Hmm.
League. So there's actually a tweet I want to bring up from Slasher. He's one of the biggest leakers on the internet. He says Hero Pools is just a convenient way for Jeff Kaplan to save face that again Blizzard really has no idea how to balance Overwatch. I feel like that's not too far off. I'd say no idea how to balance it. I feel like they could figure out eventually. But my thing is, it's like you're just making a restriction so that you can't just use the same meta every time. That's kind of what it feels like they're trying to do. They're trying to just force you to play how they want you to play instead of how you want to play. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I kind
I
of get what you
don't.
mean, but if you think about it again, the whole point of Overwatch is to swap between heroes. Now, think about it like
Yes.
this before you respond. We added role key, which everybody
Mhm.
wanted, but the whole point of Overwatch is that it's a counter pick game. They pick a hero, you pick a hero to counter pick it, counter pick, so on and so forth. The whole point is that you can switch heroes around. With a meta, people are going to pick the same 6 heroes, and the other heroes that they work so hard on are never going to get touched. I do agree that this forces people to play a meta that they may not want to play, but there's also another negative that I thought about it.
Oh, can I
People who
say
are
something?
one tricks. Oh, go ahead.
Also, this forces them to play, and it might not even be a good meta that they're forcing you to play either. It might not work well, and they'll just be stagnant games, which
Hmm.
is a realistic thing that could happen. And just games would stagnate because you don't get any great heroes. You know what I
Think
mean?
about
Well,
it.
well,
No
yeah.
shields. No shields in a pool.
Ooh, God, ugh.
That's one thing that I did want to mention that we can kind of talk about with this. They did not mention how many heroes would be in the pool each week.
Yeah.
We don't know how many heroes a week are going to be banned. It could be 6, a whole team. It could be 2. It could be 1. It could be different every week. I assume it would be consistent because it's competitive. But we
I
don't
think
know how the hero pool is going to work. Jacob, what do you think of it?
I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea in the concept that Overwatch is going to be adding more and more characters, and there's going to be so many matchups and so many counter picks and different ways to do it. Like limiting the characters you can play will make it more competitive, more. I mean, it will. But an also criticism for it is that for a certain week, if it's not randomly generated and it's like these certain set of characters each time, and it's like through a loop and stuff, that it's gonna be I'm gonna play this meta, and then once that week's over, I'll play this meta for this week, and then I'll play this meta for this next week. It's really weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, people who are one tricks are just gonna whenever their character's not in the pool, they're just not gonna queue because what's the point of
Yeah.
playing if your one trick isn't there? Like, let's think about it like this: what's one of the main characters that's been one trick for a really long time? The one that I can't stand, who's been getting a bunch of SR for no reason? Mercy. There are still Mercy one tricks out there.
Yeah.
It's actually really hard to
say
play Mercy in this current
Doomfist.
competitive
Thank
season.
God.
I'd
It
say
is.
Doomfist is one of the most crutch characters to one trick.
No, don't
I
say
mean,
that.
yeah, it's basically just a crutch one trick.
I
That's what they
mean,
do.
Well,
no, don't say that,
regardless
don't say
of
it,
it,
don't say that, don't say that.
regardless of it,
He wants to play
regardless of it,
Doomfist.
I feel like what it's going to do is it's going to force people a lot to just kind of pick and choose when they play Overwatch now because they're like, we can just look at I assume you can look at the pool before you queue up for the match because that'd be dumb if you couldn't. You know, you look at the queue, you're like, okay,
you can strategize.
who's not in the Lucio pool? Who's the Lucio pool? What? Who's not in the hero pool? Lucio, Tracer, Diva, Reinhardt. For me, that's all 4 characters that I'm decent. So if I see that they're not in the pool, I'm just like, well, not playing Overwatch competitive this week. I'm just gonna stick to quick play and arcade until my characters come back, and then I play again. You know what I mean? I feel like people are gonna pick and choose how they play. Now, would you rather have the hero pool versus hero bands though? Which one would you rather have?
Ooh, I'd say hero bands. Honestly, just hero bands because you
really.
I mean, like the thing is, they can get rid of one of your characters, but the thing is, you can do the same thing to them instead of just Overwatch choosing what characters you can. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because you have some say in what your team can play and what the other team can play. You have some say in it, whereas Overwatch can be like, all right, we're having these characters and you can only play these, right? Whereas if you have hero bands, like in League, you can just choose what character you don't want them to play and they can choose what character you don't want to play. Kind of a more friendly kind of thing.
No, it's not a friendly thing. It's more like it's competitive
Fair.
edge. You're doing it for a competitive edge over
It's like how you do it in Smash. You can just ban a stage if you don't want people to play on it. This would be the same thing in Overwatch. All the maps are pretty similar. You just choose which character you just don't want to fighting against.
I don't want to deal with Doomfist. He's OP.
Yes.
Ban him.
Yeah. See? I feel like that's just, I don't know. I think it's just a very hard thing to do. Just
Overwatch doesn't like copying other games.
They don't like balancing their game.
What? No, they do.
Well,
they say
it's so hard.
It's weird because like in this patch or in this developer update with these upcoming changes, they're really talking about giving the players more freedom. And then they introduce a hero pool that takes that freedom away.
Yes.
Because we literally have no idea how the heroes are going to be chosen. We don't know if they're going to spin a wheel, flip a coin. Because what they could do is that they could watch the reactions to the meta and be like, okay, everybody is still struggling with Mei. So we'll take Mei out of the pool for this week. Let's watch how they play.
Okay. I have a side thing for this. I would compare this to the limited 1v1 duel. You know what I mean? In the game, where it only lets you select a certain amount of characters, right? The limited 1v1s. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's basically what it's like, except it's a bigger number. I don't really like the limited 1v1 duels.
How did it take so long to do this in just competitive play? Like, come on. What? And it took so long, and you have it as an arcade game.
I feel like this is something that's so drastic that it should have been tested with players before being forced into the game because it's pretty big
because
to tell people that they can't play their hero.
Because they have the experimental mode now. Why not test it on experimental before you just like, all right, we're going to put it in season 20.
Maybe? I don't know.
Well, Jeff just straight up said that it starts in season 21, which is in March.
Dang.
All right. I guess we can just
not even on
on
PTR. I guess it's such a huge update that I would be okay with it being on PTR, you know?
Yeah. I guess we should just continue because we can't say for sure one way or the other. So, what changed with the anti-cheat? I heard there was.
So they actually didn't say these last 3 points right here. They just said we are making changes to them, which is why I was kind of trying to drag out the hero pools part, because they're just talking about, well, we have an anti-cheat update coming soon, but we can't say what it is because then people are going to try to bypass it and cheat.
There is so much cheating in Overwatch. It's unreal.
And then they said they're making an update to the workshop. They didn't give information on that. And then they said there's going to be quality of life changes to things like the player card or the career profile. They're like, we're going to make it easier to organize your player icons. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to put all my tracers on the left, all my Lucios on the right.
Overall, the Overwatch update, I think it's we're going in we're going in a good step in the right direction. It's not exactly what we thought would happen, but it's a good step in the right direction because it's trying to be more competitive, trying to do what the audience wants to do, but you know.
Yeah, I think they weren't really kind of digging into the idea that this game is a competitive game, because Overwatch's main problem, which Jeff has stated that this is how they want the game to be played, is that the competitive game is meant to be played for somebody who is coming home from work and just relaxing and wanting to play, and it is also made for the straight up tryhard. You can't mix those gameplays together. Somebody is going to get upset because somebody's going to be like, dude, it's just a game. But then somebody else is going to be like, dude, I'm trying to win. But
that's what quick play is for. Just put them all in quick play.
Right. I agree. I do think that this is a step in the right direction. I mean, just looking at like the big categories, which what we talked about, the experimental card, I'm excited for it. I'm just scared that they're gonna make changes that some people are gonna love and some people are gonna hate, and it's gonna be controversy, and then that's gonna be like
everyone would probably hate on, I don't know, like they would never, maybe they might not ever put any of the updates in because everyone's going to be like, I hate it.
Because nobody can agree. That's another thing. I kind of agree with that tweet.
That's why I think
with these changes, you're basically saying the balance of our game is now in your hand.
Yeah.
Aside from hero pools, the experimental card, we get to play what they changed and say if we like it or not. The balanced philosophy where they say it's consistent and aggressive and it's toward the meta, we make the meta, not them.
Okay.
I mean, they balance the characters, but we're the ones who put them together on the team and say this works.
Okay, this just proves to me the whole experimental mode, they're trying to use us to apply patches. Instead of, it feels like they're not playing the game. It feels like they're not like playing the game to see what actually works. You know, if they played it, they would see, oh wow, this doesn't really work. We should change this. Instead of just, all right, you guys can like, all right, does this work? Is this good?
I agree, you know but I don't. Because with that, I think the only thing that they should really be testing for stuff like that is bugs. Because you straight up just can't, regardless of if you made the game or not, you can't make a game developer godlike at aiming.
You don't have time.
You don't have time. Because especially with right now, they're working on Overwatch 2 right now, that it's supposed to drop sometime within this year or next year, you know? We don't even have a release date for it. So it's like you've got a team. Go ahead.
There should be like a set of people that actually do play the game and just like get their feedback from actual like pro players, and like I think they actually did for this one actually converse with the Overwatch League players to actually get this update, because before the update came out, the developer update came out, there was a lot of YouTube videos of pro players like I know Emong is a very present pro or semi-pro player that he was like, there's a big update coming soon, wink wink, into like he made multiple videos of it, and a lot of other pro players did too. So I think they're consulting with the Overwatch League players with certain updates.
Okay.
Or at least this update.
I don't know. Go ahead, Gentry.
Yeah, I think I should let you guys know the little elephant in the room this whole podcast. We have upgraded our audio setup now. We have Jacob has a new mic, and I also have a new mic, so we all have better mics now. Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? My mic is godlike. I don't even want to
He
hear
also
it.
has a boom arm. Everybody has a boom arm for their mic as well as a pop filter. So we have upgraded our setup a little bit.
Yeah, we're basically really sorry that the audio for the pilot episode wasn't the greatest. I'm sorry about that. We got it fixed now. Everything should sound crisp and smooth, and you should be able to hear us.
You want to talk about the Animal Crossing Switch? Looks pretty cool, to be honest.
I mean, sure we can. Nintendo Japan just recently tweeted a Animal Crossing Switch. So the Switch dock on the front of it has a island with Tom Nook and two small. I don't play Animal Crossing. I don't know who they are. Two little kids who look like Tom Nook on an island holding a flag, with a light blue ocean on there, and then it has two Switch Joy-Cons. The left one being a what is that? Teal?
Green? It's like a light. I love the Joy-Cons. And I love the little grips. They're so cool.
Yeah, I like the grips
colors.
are actually colored instead of just the neutral black ones that come with all the other ones. So the right Joy-Con is a baby blue. The left Joy-Con is a really, really light and soft green.
I also like the cords. Nice. The cords are also colored. That's so cool.
Yeah. Everything really about the design is actually pretty decorative.
I really like how it looks, to be quite honest. It's so cool.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching our episode. Our episode of the Steeplechase podcast. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube, and follow our social medias.
Make sure to leave a comment as well.
Definitely leave a comment. Hit that like button if you like our comment, liked our content, and
also
thank you.
Make sure to go on our iTunes. We have it on Spotify podcasts now. So make sure, not Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can leave a review as well, which will be very beneficial to our thing. And every week we're going to start reading one of those reviews. If we have any.
We will. We also have a Discord server. If you guys want to ever get in contact with us, if you've ever got any suggestions for us to talk about on the show, a great way to join would be joining that server. That link will be in the description of the YouTube video, but that's it for us. Anybody else got anything they want to say before we go?
Not really.
We out of here.
We out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye. All right. Here we go.